Now that the Dark Ether storyline has progressed and Black Ops 6 Zombies is out, when it first started back in Cold War there was a bunch of intel through documents and radios, all story related, which we didn't understand because that was just the beginning, and now in Black Ops 6 it's continuing and expanding on it, and we now have context for a lot of info we were told in Cold War, where 4 years ago we were listening to it and going, what does this mean? Who was this boy that Samantha and Weaver killed? Does Samantha remember Richtofen? Does Richtofen remember her? At the time we could only speculate, but with the release of Terminus, Liberty Falls and Citadel de Amor and BO6, going back to it all, we finally have some more answers. And that's exactly what I've done. Gone back and gone through all of the intel in Cold War, where we're going to take a look at it again together, but this time truly understand what it means. So taking it back to the beginning, we now know not long after Richtofen and Samantha entered this new universe in Cold War, Vanguard, Modern Warfare 3 and Black Ops 6, the Dark Ether universe, they were sent to an orphanage. So they entered this universe together as children, as friends, and from then on it seems like they were split up. And there is a document you can find in Cold War which is called Samantha's Letter, in which she wrote, "The lost little girl. Sometimes I feel like you. I remember so little from before the orphanage. Sometimes I think that's a good thing. Did we have a mother? Did we have a father? Did we have friends? I'm sorry if something bad happened to you. To us. I just want you to know one day you'll be okay. You will grow up. You will get to live the life you choose. I promise. I was you." So that was Samantha talking about herself as a child. Just like Eddie, both of them ended up in an orphanage, and both of them can't remember anything before that. As soon as they entered this new universe, all of their memories were wiped. So Samantha's father, Dr. Maxis, she forgot about him, her mother, and her friends, Nikolai, Takio, and Dempsey. In a similar situation in Citadel de Amor, there is a radio from Kraft, who is Richtofen's adoptive father, where he talks about one of his first experiences meeting Richtofen as a child.
When we were young, Sasha and I often spoke of children. It was our dream. A cottage in the country, plenty of land where we could raise our little boys the right way. But there was school, and then there was work, and then Sasha never got that little boy. So I went to an orphanage in the city today. For Sasha. There was a boy. A sickly, starved thing like all the rest, maybe 10 years old, but there was something in his eyes. I spoke to him for hours. He reminds me of Sasha. Sharp, logical, a dreamer at heart. They would have loved each other. The boy suffers from memory loss. His childhood, his parents all gone. His name, Edward, is the only thing he has left. He doesn't understand the world, but he wants to. We're alike in that way. He's asleep now in the spare bedroom. My adopted son. I don't know what comes next. But we're in this together now, my Eddie and I. For better or for worse.
So Kraft adopted Richtofen when he was about 10 years old. Richtofen had no memories prior to the orphanage, and another thing we learn is that Richtofen also suffered with nightmares. Even though he couldn't directly remember anything from the old universe, somewhere in the back of his mind, those memories must have been there because he was having nightmares of Dr. Monty's house and him playing in it with Samantha and their toys. So after they entered this new universe together, both Richtofen and Samantha ended up in similar situations. They were sent to an orphanage and from then on split up. Richtofen got adopted by Kraft, and I'm assuming Samantha got adopted by another family. And we know one big, or actually probably the biggest thing to take place in the current zombie story was Weaver and Samantha killing Richtofen's wife and son, but there is another document you can find in Cold War which is titled Maxis's diary entry, where she wrote, "Sometimes I find it hard to sleep. Even though I look forward to it, when I dream, I see faces. Faces of people I care about and faces of people that don't care for me. Sometimes it's hard to distinguish between the two, but one face stands out from all others. The face of a child. A boy. He is lost. Damaged. I want to help him. But somehow I feel that he is dangerous. Dreams are unreliable witnesses. As to am I. Sometimes I find it hard to sleep." So very similar to Richtofen where he was having nightmares, Samantha was also having dreams, as she calls this one, of a boy. She described him as being lost and damaged. She wanted to help him, but somehow she felt that he was dangerous. Now this boy she's dreaming about could be the boy she killed, Richtofen's son, or it could be Richtofen himself. Either a memory from the old universe or a memory from this universe. Knowing that deep down Richtofen, even as a child, was dangerous. That's why I think she's talking about Richtofen here, because surely if she was having dreams of his son that she killed, dangerous wouldn't be the word to describe him. Which makes me think she was dreaming about Richtofen. Anyway, after both of them were adopted and went to different families, Samantha ended up working for the BND, which is basically the German Secret Service, where eventually in 1979, during the Iran Revolution, that was the first time she met Weaver. Western intelligence agencies coordinated with the CIA to ensure the SARS safe extraction, but a lot of citizens in the country and diplomats weren't so lucky, Samantha included. And if it wasn't for Weaver's intervention and willingness to go off the books, she'd be dead by now. Weaver saved her from the situation in Iran in 1979. From then on, they started working as a pair, but at one point, the two went on a mission together, which ended in the deaths of Richtofen's wife and son. Samantha gave Weaver some intel. Weaver acted upon that intel. He went to assassinate Richtofen, failed, and in order to cover his tracks, burned down a house, killing his family. Just going through Samantha's diary note, she said, "I'm writing it down, not because I don't know what happened, but so that others will. My name is Maxis, Samantha Maxis. I know you're reading this, Weaver, and I know you feel the same guilt I do about the boy. I promised I would keep him safe, but we both failed him. The last thing I expected was for you to move as quickly as you did. The operation should never have happened. If I'd have known the steps you would take, I would not have told you the location. The house was supposed to be safe. We both feel the guilt, but I will always blame myself, more than you. I remember waiting for your call. 10, 11, 12, the phone never rang. Instead, I saw news of the explosion on TV. I couldn't sleep. 3 a.m. I heard a knock at my apartment door. You gave the keyword, and I let you in. We'd never met face to face before. It was a shock to finally meet you. You were in a bad way. I did my best to dress your wounds, but it was the first and only time I ever saw you cry. You mumbled something about not knowing, about how sorry you were. You torched the place to cover your tracks after the hit. You said the boy was supposed to be staying with his mother, but he wasn't. He was there, in the house, while it burned to the ground. So from what we can gather and what we know now from the Black Ops 6 zombie storyline progressing, and some of it's still a little bit iffy, but Samantha gave Weaver the location of a house where the hit was supposed to take place. By now we know the person Weaver was supposed to assassinate was Richtofen, but before going there, Samantha made a promise to his son that she would keep him safe. She thought at the time he wasn't going to be at the house, he was supposed to be elsewhere with his mother, and so Weaver went there, failed in taking out Richtofen. To cover his tracks, he burned the house down, but Richtofen's son, the boy Samantha promised to protect, and his mother were actually in the house as it burned. The only little inconsistency in my understanding of this story is Samantha says she saw an explosion on TV, which suggests that she knew that explosion was going to happen. Was that explosion Richtofen's house? Which, if that's the case, surely it was preemptive. Whether Weaver successfully killed Richtofen or didn't, he was always going to burn the house, which seems like it then caused an explosion, unless that explosion is unrelated. But yeah, basically Samantha promised to keep Richtofen's son safe, which then brings up a ton more questions that we haven't learned yet. Well, what was she keeping him safe from? Was Richtofen a bad father? There's nothing to suggest that. Was she keeping him safe from Richtofen? It must be related to the reason why Samantha wanted Richtofen dead. What did Richtofen do to Samantha for her to want him dead? We don't know that either, but she clearly cared about her son to the point where she promised him he would be safe. All of this part to me is a little bit strange. If Samantha is making this promise to Richtofen's son, then clearly she must have known him or have had some sort of relationship with him. Was Richtofen and Samantha friends for a little while when they were grown up, and then something happened between the two? Anyway, expanding on this, we then have multiple radios where Samantha talks to herself or to Weaver about that day.
His name was Samuel, and we will forever feel responsible for his death. I gave the intel to Weaver. The intel he acted upon. That's what we're all supposed to do, right? Act on the available intel. That's just what Weaver did. Act. Unfortunately, his actions resulted in collateral damage that neither of us will ever be able to forgive ourselves for. I'm sorry. I know he is too. But I still have a terrible feeling that the events of that day may yet come back to haunt us. I just need you to know. I am sorry. Hello?
Hello, Sam. I'm not allowed to visit in person, but I just wanted to check in.
Before the operation tomorrow? Be there or be square.
I know I can't tell you what to do. You wouldn't listen anyway. But seriously.
I know my orders, Weaver. I assist with the infill, but then...
You stand down. We can't risk any mistakes. We both know how badly things can go south if we act impulsively.
You're talking about the boy, aren't you?
And the mother.
It wasn't your fault.
It wasn't yours either, Sam.
Thanks for calling, Weaver. I'll see you in the morning.
Goodbye, Sam.
Weaver,
Hello, Sam.
you look serious.
My colleagues tell me you've not exactly been cooperative. Or forthcoming. Instead, you've been evasive. Obtuse, even.
Ain't that just like me?
This isn't a joke, Sam. I'm worried about you. We all are.
After what I've been through, do you honestly think I'm joking?
Sam.
I thought I'd died and gone to hell. I thought everything and everyone I ever knew was gone forever.
You've been to hell before, though, Sam. We both have. I was never going to leave you there to die.
Like you did the boy.
That's not fair, Sam. That was a different situation. We both did all we could.
But not enough. He's still dead, isn't he?
I can see you're agitated, so I'm gonna let you get some rest. I hope you feel better soon. I don't want to upset you.
So Samantha told us Richtofen's son's name was Samuel. She will forever feel responsible for his death. Weaver is in the same situation. He feels it was his fault as well. I mean, it was both of them. But anyway, what eventually happened, if you followed along with the Cobble Zombie storyline, Richtofen restrained Samantha, put her inside of an interrogation room, and interrogated her behind some smoked glass so she couldn't see who he was. At this point, Richtofen was the director of Requiem. He, of course, could see her. He knew all about her, but Samantha had no idea who this mysterious director of Requiem was. And so after a few events happened, Richtofen finally got a chance to interrogate her, and this is what happened between the two.
Wake up. Wake up!
Where am I? Where's Natso?
You will answer our questions. Do you understand?
Who the hell are you?
That's not important. What's important is who you are. What is your name?
Fuck you.
Where were you born?
Kiss my ass.
Your name is Samantha Maxis. You were born in Berlin, November 5th. Is that correct? Is that correct?
I don't know. Everything is different now.
Oh, I know that better than you.
Where am I?
You're in Block 8. A facility specifically designed to take care of people like you.
Take care of people like me?
You're here to undergo some specialized tests.
What kind of tests?
You'll find out soon enough. The Dark Aether changed you in many ways. I just need you to know how much.
You don't know anything about me.
Really? I think you're going to be very surprised. Hello, Sam.
Leave me alone.
No. We've got work to do.
Oh, you're going to electrocute me again?
I really hope it doesn't come to that.
What do you want?
I want you to show me some of your powers. Weaver and Gray both saw you do it. Why should I miss out?
What are you talking about?
I want you to move something, using only the power of your mind.
If you'd come down from behind that glass, I'd move something, all right.
I was worried you'd be like this. Why can't we just get along? I promise you, what I'm doing is for your own good.
You're insane.
Maybe. But I know what you're capable of. I just want to see it for myself.
What if I don't want to?
That would force me into the regrettable position of having to use more severe methods.
Is that a threat?
No, not a threat. Just an incentive.
Hello, Mr. Director.
Oh, you heard me come in. You're very perceptive, aren't you? Do you know how long you've been here?
Not counting bathroom breaks and mandatory exercise. 15 days. As of today.
And still no breakthrough?
What kind of breakthrough do you want? Your only goal seems to be trying to make me angry. But I'm not. Just disappointed.
You're probably going to be more disappointed when this session is over. You do know that none of them really care for you. Strauss, Carver, Weaver, even Gray. They've barely inquired as to your current situation.
That's not true. They wouldn't want me to be here. You're just trying to manipulate me. Test my emotional responses.
Like you did with them. Do you even know how much trouble you caused for your Requiem friends? Going behind their backs on your little secret squirrel mission with Ravenov.
I looked Weaver in the eye when I was taken. To be brought here. He didn't want this.
You like him, don't you?
Not in the way you think. We just have history. Shared history. Shared trauma. You wouldn't understand.
I do understand. In fact, I was very forgiving about the whole thing. I mean, given Weaver's failures and lapses in security, I could easily have had him disappeared.
Don't test me.
Maybe I still should.
I'm warning you!
What on earth could you possibly do to me? You really are just a pathetic, sad, little, lost... Oh dear. I suppose we'll have to replace that glass now. But at least we're making progress. We're going to try something a little different today.
What's going on? What are you doing? Oh,
It's your fluffy friend.
she's not Fluffy. Her name's Not So. Not So Fluffy.
Cute, I suppose. I just thought you'd be pleased to see each other.
We are. But I don't suppose you would know how it feels to be loved.
Playtime's over. Guard, you have your orders. Please take aim.
What?
In exactly 30 seconds, by my watch, the guard will pull the trigger.
How dare you? What the fuck is wrong with you?
25,
She's done nothing wrong!
18,
What kind of monster are you?
10.
What do you want from me?
You know what I want. 5,
Ah!
3, 2, 1. Stand down, Sophie. Well done, Samantha. You successfully teleported your dog to safety. I can't begin to tell you how proud I am. Of you.
"62 days.
Sorry. I'm not sure what you mean.
That's how long I've been here. 62 days.
Is that including bathroom breaks?
Honestly, fuck you. Sorry. Saying that's just me taking my mandatory exercise.
What a potty mouth you have.
Apologies. What I meant to say was, fuck you!
Can I direct your attention to the monitor? The one on your right.
Elizabeth, she's asleep. Why are you watching her?
Not just Gray. I watch everyone. Bring in the prisoner.
What do you want from me this time? More magic teleporting?
No. Something much more important. This is a captured Omega agent, and I would like to see you kill him, using only the power of your mind.
I won't do it.
Won't or can't. I think the former.
You can't make me.
Take another look at the monitor. Do you see the figure standing very quietly in the corner of her room? The one who's just raised a pistol to Dr. Gray's head.
You're sick!
The way I see it, you have a clear choice. Kill the very, very bad person, or let the very, very good person die. It's simple, really. And please don't make me give you a countdown, because this time I would actually start on 5.
I can't.
Trust me, you can. 4. You may not realize it yet, but trust me, Samantha, today was a very good day. Hello, Sam. How are you today?
I am alive. Yes. Still alive.
Are you scared?
I am not scared. I have overcome much worse things.
I don't mean scared of being here. I mean, are you scared of yourself?
I am not a bad person.
You are a good soul.
I want to believe that. I have to believe that.
You don't need to prove it to me. I know.
Why can't you just let me go? Why can't you just put me out of my misery?
Sam, I would never give up on you. You don't know how much power you really possess, what your gift truly is.
And you want to take it from me?
No. I want to help you learn how to use those gifts. For the good of us all.
I don't understand.
The Forsaken is almost upon us. And only you can stop it.
There are a few points in this interrogation which, knowing everything we do now that Black Ops 6 has come out, you can go back and be like, hang on, that makes sense now. For example, when Richtofen says to Samantha, you'll find out soon enough, the Dark Ether changed you in many ways, I just need you to know how much. Maxa says back, you don't know anything about me, and Richtofen replies, really? I think you're going to be very surprised. Of course, Richtofen knows everything about her, he grew up with her, they were friends as children. Even though Richtofen can't remember anything before the orphanage, it seems like there was a small point in time entering this universe and then going into the orphanage that he can remember. He at least knows that they were friends as children, and loads of other things have gone down between them as well. Whereas Samantha, because she didn't know Richtofen was the director, was unaware. There's also another point where Maxa says to Richtofen, I looked Weaver in the eyes when I was taken here. He didn't want this. Richtofen said back to her, you like him, don't you? She said, not in the way you think. We just have history, shared trauma. You wouldn't understand. And Richtofen says back to her, I do understand. In fact, I was very forgiving about the whole thing. This must have really hurt Richtofen because, one, Richtofen knows all about shared history and trauma because she killed his family, so he would understand. And when he says to her, in fact, I was very forgiving about the whole thing, I don't think he was only talking about the little mission that the two went on together, totally unrelated, but was he also hinting about him being very forgiving about her killing his family? So going back through all of these old radios, there is a lot in there which we now understand a lot more because we've learned what happened and why Richtofen has done all of this. When Samantha and Weaver killed Richtofen's family, that was the moment he turned. As Kraft, his adoptive father, told us in Citadel de Moore,
Grief is incomprehensibly powerful. The fire that took Richtofen's family turned him into a monster. After the fire, Richtofen was consumed by darkness. I could not help him.
The fire that took Richtofen's family turned him into a monster. After that, he was consumed by darkness and went on to do everything we've seen him do in Cold War and Black Ops 6. But the one big question that remains is, why did they want to kill Richtofen? And why was Samantha so interested in protecting his son? If you wanted to protect him that much, don't try to assassinate his father. Surely. Anyway, there we go. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. As always, hopefully you've enjoyed the video today. If you have, drop a like rating. Make sure you are subscribed to stay up to date with the latest content on the channel. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Until then, goodbye.